recording. Okay, so we got the left side more or less done. Now we're going to jump over to the right side for a minute. We're going to put another ghost on here, and then we're going to have some fun with some trees and some other stuff down in here. So let's get our other ghost on. When we do a ghost, the first line we put on there kind of determines what that ghost is going to look like. We want to keep this line light, but I want this dark enough that you can see it, but I can't emphasize enough that keep this light. So I go on kind of an S shape. It's going right here and then curving back this way at the bottom. I don't want to go any darker than that. I'll bring it in a little closer so it's easier to see. But keep your super light, because we don't want that line showing when we finish the ghost. And if you make it dark, it's impossible to get rid of it. So we curve it around at the end, and then we just come back from the bottom and connect these two up. Curve in, curve out. Now we have that shape on there. Man, I hope I didn't go too dark with that line. I really don't like going that dark. All right, let's put that opening for the head on him. Come around this way, and then we're going to just bring this over and let it come to the edge. Put that little tag line, let it come right down and connect up with the edge of the body right there. Okay, I'm going to do this one a little different. I'm going to bring this arm coming over here like this. So it comes over, up, and then swoops out just a little at the end. So just right out of the shoulder, kind of right here. And then the other one, I'm going to bring coming up here like we did on the other one, make it a little bit higher. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that clearly enough. I will say you're getting better at your ghosts. The main thing we were having problems with is you guys crisscrossing in the middle of your body, putting little X's with your eraser. We want to avoid that. Or you're coming like straight out with your eraser instead of following this way. You're like going out this way. It follows the flow. Okay. We're going to emphasize that a little bit again today. So before I color any of this in, let's do the easiest part first, which is right here, doing that medium dark inside the head opening. We're not going to spend a lot of time. I'm not going to go real slow through this part because we've drawn a lot of ghosts. We kind of have the hang of it. Make that a little darker at the top. So try to keep up because none of this is anything new. We will do some new stuff down in here. But right now, we're just kind of doing stuff that we already know. So I think you should be able to go a little bit quicker because we've practiced this quite a bit. Now I'm going to come down here at the bottom end, kind of the tail end of my ghost, and I'm going to darken that up a little bit so it's definitely darker than the cloud behind it. And then as I move up and I'm coloring it in, I'm going to use the side of my pencil now, and I'm going to go not quite as dark as I move up the body. Okay. It's okay if that cloud's right there and it blends right into it. That's fine for now. Come around, fill that all in. But I do want it darker down at that bottom end, down towards the tail end. And I might bring it up even just a little further right there. Trying to keep that fairly smooth. Color it in real even. Don't have a lot of hard lines because I didn't scribble all over. Now the main thing when we do wings is making sure we go with the flow of what we have on there. When I say go with the flow, this wing comes out here and then swoops up this way. This one comes over here and swoops up that way. So if that's making a little swoop, I don't come on here and put my line straight down. That's not the direction that line's going. Okay? I don't come out here and put my lines on diagonal right here, because that's not how that's going. So, to start with, I'll come over here. I'm going to turn my paper slightly because it's a little easier. Side of my pencil. Basically following the same direction as that line. I'll do another one. I'll do another one. And I'm going to work my way back towards the body. These are just my first ones to show me, okay, what direction are, we'll call them wing feathers for lack of a better term. What direction are those wings going to go? Are any of those straight like I did it with a ruler? No, okay, so don't make yours super straight, okay? That's just to give me some direction. In a second here, I'll come over and do this other wing, but I'm going to give you a second to get caught up. We're not going to finish this wing yet. We'll come back and do that in a second. I want to just get the direction down so that we can then go to the final step on the wing. So does anybody need more time on this wing right here? Raise your hand so I know. I'll give you a second to get caught up here. And I hope you're using the side of your pencil and then lifting up when you get the bottom so you get more of a narrow end on those lines. So this one I'm going to turn it upside down, mostly so I don't get my hand on the paper. If I were left-handed, it still works just fine. But it goes right or left. We're just trying to keep the side of my hand off of here. So I'm just trying to keep it down on the desk. So I'm going to follow that same shape. Side of my pencil, follow the shape, and then it's going to start straightening out a little more as we get closer to the body. So then when I turn it around, now I see which way those go. These are not straight down, they curve slightly out. These curve out this way. Okay? They're not going counter to the direction or the flow of everything else. Now is when it gets a little easier. Now we're going to fill that in a little bit. I'm just going to come along. Now I know the direction to go. I'm going to go a lot darker. And I'm following those lines that I just put down. Come in here, follow them around. Do not go the opposite direction of them. Okay, so now I've got that one, and it's darker than what it is behind it. Okay, because I want this to show up against those clouds. Again, following my lines, not going another direction. I'm not quite sure why some of you put those direction lines down there and then you go just completely opposite of what you put them on there. Those are there as a guideline, okay? So make sure you follow them. I'm going to make it just a little darker on the wing where it meets the body. And I'm doing that just to make the body part stand out just a little more from the wing. It's a little trick right now we're using to help give us separation from body to wing. So hopefully that translates pretty good. I'll put it like that. Now you can see what I'm doing there. See how that's darker here than it is here, darker here than it is here? I'll give you just a second to get caught up here. You guys are doing so well with these that actually I've been looking forward to this class all day long, because this is fun stuff, and it's really fun to see what you guys are doing on your papers, because you're doing a good job. You're doing a really good job on them. In fact, I know some high school kids that need to step it up so they can get as good as you guys are. They're not there right now. You guys are doing pretty darn good. Okay, now like we do before, remember how we fold this up? Just keep folding it until we get a nice hard corner. Okay, we just need to make sure that's good, stiff corner, so it's not too soft, pretty thick. Raise this up a little bit. I think I need to turn my light on. All right. Now's my favorite part. Well, second favorite part. I like smearing it because I think it's fun. It makes it look all mystic and ghosty-like, but I also like using the eraser to give it dimension. So I'm going to start on the body, but I'm going to start up top here. Lightly do the head. Remember, the inside of the face, you just got to go over a little bit. You're just barely trying to blend it. You're not trying to rub that too hard. Just trying to soften it up. So as I'm doing this, I'm just getting it a little bit softer. Then I'll move down the body. And the first swipe, I'll just go down like that. But then I'm going to come outside the body. Go back and forth, and I want it to go outside the line that I've already drawn on it. Okay? Trying to widen it out when I smear it. And see, if I kept my line light enough, it disappears. I don't see this line right here. I don't see it down here. That's what I want. If you still see your line after you've rubbed over it, you're putting your line on too dark to start with. Okay? That's your guideline to know whether your line's too light or too dark. This one's going to look even cooler than the one we got over here, probably. They're both going to look really good. Love doing these because they're awesome looking. All right, we'll go ahead and do this wing, and then we'll do this wing, and then we'll start the eraser stuff. So I'm going to come out here. Again, I'm following the direction that I put on my lines to begin with. And it's okay to go down below them. Pick it up. Might make your wings slightly bigger. I'm coming along right at the top and just filling that in. Now that wing's blending right into my cloud back there. But that's okay, because when I come back with my eraser, I'll be able to separate that out. And when I come over here, I'm following the direction I put the scribble lines down. Changing direction as I rub on there. I'm not going the opposite. I'm not coming on here and going this way. Don't do that. Go the same direction that you put it on in the first place. And if I was living in that house, I'd be a little bit nervous because these are some big ghosts. Now, does anybody need more time to smear that ghost? Okay, I don't see any hands. So we kind of know what we're doing at this point. So I'm going to come in here, and I am going to go along the edge of my body, and I'm going to follow that on around just like that. See how it swoops this way? It doesn't go this way. It doesn't go straight down. I don't make little triangles. Okay? I just take my eraser, press down and lift up. Press down and lift up. Press down and lift up. And I'm going in the same direction as what my original line was. Now I'll come along this side of the body, and I'm going to establish it by following that line down and connecting it up right there. And then off of there, I'll bring some lines, just a few, coming off that side. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not crisscrossing lines. I don't want to come in here and crisscross anywhere in the center of that body. They're not going to stick out as far on this side because this is the inside of the bend, this is the outside of the bend. Outside will always stick out further than the inside. Now it's time to become a wingman, and we come out here, and we follow the direction again. So I'm following that out, out, lifting up at the end. Now I got my direction for those. I'm going to come over here, do the same thing. So I got my direction for these. I'm going to come around the end here to make sure I don't forget this change direction a little bit. All that is just telling me where to erase and what direction to do it, so I don't get lost going back and forth. Once you have that, just like we did before with the black pencil, we're going to come in with our eraser and go back and forth and put more on there, okay? If there is one thing I've seen that maybe needs a little improvement, is some of you don't erase enough off. Okay, so make sure you don't end it looking just like that. That's just the beginning. That's not the finish. This is more finished. So make sure you're going back and forth. Getting that thing erased off of there. You don't want to erase everything. You want it to show up. I guarantee if you walk in at just about any other junior high in the whole darn nation, they're not drawing something this cool looking. I just guarantee. Part of the reason I can guarantee it is the method for drawing these ghosts I made up entirely on my own. This is not copied from anybody. So you're getting something that you won't get anywhere else that you're in an art class. But I like it because it's kind of easy and it's cool looking. All right, along the top edge of the wing, we just want to barely come along and just highlight that and then just let it stop when we get to the top of the bend. And if you'll notice, it makes it separate from the cloud behind it. Okay, you can kind of see it's just a really thin line. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Just on that top edge. And then just let it stop right there. It's kind of a little highlight. We do need to come back and do that on this one too. But right now get this one and this one. And then I'll move over here and I'm going to do the same thing here. Just put that right on the top edge going into the body. And right here. So it stands out from that cloud behind it. So when I lift it up, you can see clearly the ghost from the body. Then we just got a few little touch-ups around the head, and this guy will be done. Then we can get into some other fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to put a little fold on the back of the head. Kind of comes around the head. I'll put a little darker line right there. I'm going to soften it a little bit with my Kleenex so it's not too hard looking. And that's a fold, kind of like we got a fold over here. We're just putting one come over here. Most of you know right where the dark part of the face opening meets the hood. We just want to lighten that up a little bit around that so it gives separation. And then right above that line that we just drew in, we're going to do the same thing. Put a little bit of a little white line right there. And then I'm going to put a little line right there on the back of the neck. We're going to call that good for that ghost right now. And then we're going to do one of my favorite things to do on here. I like making these cool looking old trees that we're going to put on here. Okay, who needs time to finish that ghost up? Nobody? All right, let's do a tree. So I'm going to come down inside the bottom here. I'm coming down into the ground. I'm not drawing the tree right here, starting here. I'm coming down here to start. When I do this, I'm going to take one line. It's a diagonal line, just like that. Now I'm going to put another diagonal line next to it, but I'm going to make it get a little more narrow. And I'm just going to color that in black. So it goes to kind of a point. It's a little bit wide here and then goes to kind of a point. All right. Now don't make that super wide, just a little bit. And this is what I love about these. These are fun trees to draw because it's almost like we're drawing it with a ruler. We're going to angle back and forth and back and forth. So we got that one on there. Now we come this way and just connect it to that. Make sure that this is not thicker than that, okay? going to get skinnier as we go up. If we do this a step at a time, this should look pretty cool when we're finished. So we lean to the right, then we lean to the left. So we're going to lean back to the right again. And again, I'm getting just a little bit thinner on this one than I was on. Thicker, thinner, thinner, and then I'm going to have one last one that goes up this way. It's going to be really thin. I'm going to make that one just a little bit longer. So it's like I had a ruler and I went this way, this way, this way, this way. Okay? And our goal here, when we do this, is to make our tree look better than this tree right here, which a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you get real adventurous and go like this. You get a tree like that. And some of you are like, oh, well, I want a dead tree. And go like that. Okay, we're trying to take it a step up from that. Okay. All right, where we have these bends, comes this way, comes this way, comes this way. This is where we're going to add some tree branches off of here. So I'm going to come this way a little bit. I'm going to bring that just out to a point right there. That's a little broken branch, okay? So we'll do the other one that's going to go this way. I'm going to come off this side, and I'm going to make this one a little bit longer. Comes out to a point. So we made the letter Y right here. And now we're going to bring a branch off this one. I'm going to come up a little ways like that, and then I'm just going to angle it over, up and over a little bit, because I don't want it to be perfectly straight. Bring that in a little closer so you can see what I'm doing there. And I'm going to come out the end here near the top of this one and put in a little one coming off the other way. Just press down and lift up. Just a little small one. I think sometimes when people draw trees, they overthink it a little bit. One of the bigger problems is they'll make the stump about right at the base, but then they get thicker as they go up. Well, if a tree got thicker as it went up the trunk, it's going to break, because the base would be too skinny to hold it up. So you want things kind of getting more narrow as you go up the tree. All right, off of this side, I'm going to bring a little one that shoots off this way. I'll thicken it right here at the base, then bring it to a point. And for those of you that like to hunt, I kind of imagine kind of like antlers as I'm going. If you look, that's kind of like an elk antler, like the brow tine. Then you got your royal sticking up here, and then got a little extra and a little fork in the back. It's not just like it, but it's sort of like it. Okay, we'll get a little away from that when we do these next two. I'm going to bring one that comes off this side and just lift up like that. And then I'm going to bring one directly across going the other way. Okay, next spot, we're going to come up this bare one. There's nothing on this. We're going to bring this one coming out almost parallel, almost horizontal. And then I'm going to kind of like let it break right here, like it's kind of fractured right there, kind of pointing down. Like something came along and broke the end a little bit. Now this tree is going to probably fall over to the left if we don't counterbalance it a little bit. So we're going to bring a branch comes up off of here. It's got a little bit of mass at the base. We've got to make sure we don't get wider than this, but still thicker than just a single line. Then I'm going to bring another one that comes way over this way, like that. A little skinny one comes way over that way. I'll bring one that comes up, and then I'm going to zigzag this one a little bit. Off of here, I'm going to Y it out this way, and I'm going to go right behind my other branch up here. Okay, because they can cross back and forth. They don't grow independent necessarily. They can cross back and forth. I'm going to lengthen this one out, and then bring one that comes over here and goes right in front of my other one. And then off the end of this, I'm going to bring a little one go that way and a little one go that way. I'll bring one down here. Now we got little branches going everywhere. So this is kind of winter time, late fall, super late fall. We are going to add a few leaves, but not a lot of leaves. This is more or less, tree that's kind of dormant for the year. So we're just going to put a few on here. And when we do that, the leaf shape, I'll show you a magnified version of it. So the leaf shape is just going to be like this, okay? That's the leaf shape right there, and we're going to fill it in black. It's going to be like a little silhouette. So it's just a curved line and a curved line that comes to a point on each end. But these are going to be teeny tiny, so I'm going to come right off the end of this branch, and I'm making a little teeny tiny one right there. But now you know the shape. This is the shape right here, but it's also micro tiny. I'm going to put another one right next to it. It's got a couple right there. I'm going to skip over here to this side, put one right off of here, going right in line with the branch. And then I'll put one kind of going up. They're all kind of growing in little clusters, okay? A couple together, and I think I'll put one going down too, just so it's not the same as this one. We have two here, so I'm going to put three there, just to kind of make it a little different. Over here, off the end of this tall one, I'm going to put a single one right up here. And then I'll put a single one hanging down right here. I think off my broken branch, I'm going to put just a few right here too. One going in line, maybe one coming back this way. And maybe a third one right there. Okay, in a little bit, I'm going to have you draw one of these trees that we did here. I'm going to have you draw one over here coming out from behind this gravestone, making it your own, using that style where we zigzag to start with. But before we do that, I got something else, a little surprise to show you that's easy to draw, that's going to look cool. Okay? So is everybody done with the tree or not? Anybody need more time on that tree? Okay. That's why I asked. And if you don't quite finish, you can always come back to it, because I'm going to give you guys a little time to draw here in just a second, because you're going to have to create your own tree or two. Some of you are going to have room to put 2 trees, 2 more trees. Some of you will have less room, more room. Just depends on how big you drew your haunted house to start with. But I think everybody has a little cross over here. So this little cross that we got sitting right here, I'm going to zoom in on that. That's where we're going to have a little fun. Okay, so I got my cross on there. I'll make sure I know exactly where my edges are right here. I'm going to put a little short diagonal line right there, just like that. Just a little short one, okay? So if that's sitting perfectly horizontal, that leans back a little bit to the left. Now I'm going to draw a teardrop. This is kind of weird. It's going to come down pointing towards this part. But I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go a little bit past my horizontal line there. In fact, I'm going to go a lot more past. I'm going to come up here that far past. And I'm just going to color that in black. I want a little more point off the tail, so I'm just going to make that just a little longer, so it's just a little pointer right there is all I'm doing. Okay, then I'm going to put a tiny circle right here on top of this bump. And then a little triangle coming off the end of that circle. And just like that, we have a crow right there. So it's a teardrop, a circle, and a triangle, and you've drawn a crow. So, could you be able to draw like a crow sitting up on top of that? Could you draw a crow sitting on your tree somewhere? Could you put a crow on top of, like, put on top of the house? You could put on top of the gravestones. You can put those all over just like we did with the cats. So let me show you this back. I'm going to switch this back over here just so you can kind of see. It'll help you with a reference. You don't need to copy it exactly, but that gives you an idea of some of the potential. So what I want you to do with your drawing right now, and I will minimize that for a second, I want you to put another tree over here coming out from behind that grave. So instead of drawing that all the way down, it's going to go down behind that, and then it's going to zigzag up here, okay? If you got room for a second tree in here or over here, in addition to that one, so it'd be like a third tree technically because we got one drawn already, go ahead and throw it in there. Put some more of these gravestones, put some more over here. Going the other way, you can put some more crosses, pick places to put some of those crows. You can make flying crows. You all know how to do that, the little flying looking things, just black. Okay, I'll put that other picture up so you have kind of just a reference for fun. And that maybe will help you with some ideas. And between now and the end of class, I want you to get the tree drawn. I want you to add some stuff and kind of make it your own. Make it a little bit different, okay? All right, have at it. And if you need help, I'll be happy to help you. But you don't have a lot of time left, so let's get going on that tree that you need on the left side. Make sure you get that on there before you do anything else. And you do kind of have a visual up there to kind of help. Some what? Yeah, but get the tree drawn first, then do the other stuff, okay? Yes. Now, when you guys are drawing this tree on the left side, don't be afraid to make it maybe just a little taller if you have room. I just didn't have enough room because we had a ghost. Shorten it up on this side. So, don't make your trees look identical to each other, is what I'm saying. Back there on the doing a good job. Just make sure you're going thick and using less. And I just got thick skin. It's narrow. So the good news is you just picking some stuff up. Aren't you glad you didn't draw that on it? That thing takes long. Yeah. And I think you got some that are even more complex than that. Yeah. High school students. That one's fun, but it takes so long. The little ghost you guys see in there, the cat walking in the lawn, all that. Yeah, that's it. In fact, I'll probably leave you tomorrow to customize this to make it your own. And then we'll probably, even though this was guided practice, we've done such a good job. Once you make it your own, add your stuff to it. I think we'll grade this one because they look pretty darn good, and we can get a pretty decent grade on it. So, another 3 can besides fishing. You know what? I went over 2 feet. You can do ratio. So that was just a little small. Keep working it up. Keep zigzagging up.